This is the Wiiviewer, and I'm going to review The Price is Right 2010? Wait, 2000 what? According to my calendar, it's September 2009, which means that this game is from the future, 2010. Well, the fact that this game apparently comes from the future raises some interesting problems. Like, how are you supposed to guess prices of things that don't even exist yet? But I put my fears of this futuristic game aside, and I tried my best to guess the prices of the prizes they're showing me. And for the most part, I did pretty good. If you're a regular watcher of my videos, you may know that I loved the original Price is Right game for the Wii. As flawed as it was still an accurate representation of the show, and I found it extremely fun. So much so that it was my number 6 pick on my top 10 list of the best games I reviewed in 2008. And I'm happy to say almost all the complaints I had last time about the game are completely gone. There is still one glaring problem, but I'll get into that later. If you don't know, The Price is Right is played like this. You first start out in Contestants Row, where you try and get the closest to the actual price of the item they show you. When you win there, you move on to a randomly selected fun pricing game, where you can win a bigger prize. Then you move on to the wheel, where you compete against 2 other players to see who can get closer to $1 without going over, in 2 tries. If you win at the wheel, you move on to the showcase, where you and another person are shown 2 sets of 3 prizes, and the one who gets the closest to the actual price wins it. When you first start out the game, they have you create your own avatar to play with. They give you a few options to choose from, and more variations will be unlocked as you win the pricing games. It's nice to see that you can not only tweak the way your player looks, but also the way he or she acted. You can make them shy or outgoing on the screen, so you can put a little personality into your own personal character. The single player game can be played in 2 different ways: 3 strikes and classic. In classic mode, you get 1 shot at winning the money in the game and getting through all the rounds just like you would in the real game. 3 strikes is different though, and it's even different than it was last time I played the older version. I always thought it was unfair to get a strike on the wheel, when it really came down to luck on that part. And it looked like the publishers agreed with me, because now the only way you can get a strike in this game is in Contestants Row. And I love that. It makes the game so much more fun to play. You keep playing the full game over and over again until you get 3 strikes in Contestants Row. It's a really good thing they got rid of getting strikes on the wheel, because I think the computer is cheating even worse this time. There is no other way to explain it. The computer is cheating, or its characters are some of the luckiest people in existence. I played this game 40 times. And do you know how many times I made it to the showcase at the end? Once. I am not kidding. Once. That's ridiculous. All right, now I'm finally at the showcase. Hey, look at them. They're swaying to the rhythm. They look like they're listening to some music.
Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on, get paid. And all that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars break the mold.
That has to be one of my most random jokes ever. Now let me get back to The Price is Right. One of the best parts of this game is the ability to speed up the action. In this version, you can click on a button to speed up your opponent's spins on the wheel. So you don't have to wait for your opponent's spins to finish just for it to screw you over. So you can get that part out of the way fairly quickly. In fact, that applies to the whole game. Everything can be skipped over, whether it be the announcer talking to you about the game you're going to play, or him telling you about the prizes you're about to bid on. You could just click on it and it would stop describing it. As you win at the pricing games, you'll earn achievements, which will unlock video clips of the real show. It looks like they split the clips evenly between the ones with Bob Barker and Drew Carey. The problem with doing this is that you can see the real difference between the two. And it's so glaring and sad that it might depress you. From the clips you could tell Bob Barker really enjoyed his job, while Drew Carey tries too hard to look like he's enjoying himself.
I think I've been mugged. Gotta sit down for a minute, Van. No, don't dig too close, Van, no.
All right. Nice to meet you, too. Trisha's, I was talking to Trisha at the break. She's 19, she works in a mortuary.
I do. And I went to Gary.
All right.
In addition to video clips, achievements also unlock new clothes for your characters like shirts, pants, eyeglasses, and more. One of the most disappointing parts of the achievements this time around is that they're won just by winning the pricing game, and not by doing something special in it, like winning it in a certain number of seconds, or only being off by the price by a few dollars. They did that in the original title, and it kept me playing that particular pricing game until I won that achievement. But it was just too easy this time around to get them, and that was disappointing. There's also a party mode where 2 to 4 players can play a 3-game episode of The Price is Right to see who can win the most money in the end. You can play with one Wiimote, or you have the option to use separate ones. The difference in this game is that when one of the party guests wins at the contestants' row, they're given the choice of 4 games to choose from, so it's not as random as it is in the single-player game. There are 32 pricing games to play this time around, and it was nice to see them add a few that were sorely missed, like the Golden Road for one. Unfortunately, not all these games translated well. There was one that probably should have been left out, and that was the clock game. In that game, you have to call out the price of the item they're showing you, and they'll tell you if you're higher or lower than the actual price, and you'll have to keep guessing until 30 seconds is up. The problem is that it takes too long to change the number, so the clock game is too hard to play. Last time I told you the game was only worth a rent, because it was too expensive because it was just a port of the computer game which could be bought for half the price. And while that is still true for this version, I think the added pricing games, the fixed 3 strikes game, and the overall more polished gameplay mechanics and visuals makes the game worth a buy this time around.